We're here.
Oh, geez. Everybody's
Hey,
in
everybody.
circles. Howdy, Jim.
Let's get after it. Hey, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Carvers and Creators, a weekly demonstration and discussion with sculptors, carvers, and multi-talented artists from around the world. If you're a fan of the show and you like what we do, give us a like and a follow on the platform you're watching us on, and let us know in the comments where you're watching us from. Let's meet the artists.
Why not?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hang on a second.
right.
I'm blowing myself up just for no reason, you know? And why not, right?
Was I supposed to go with you first, Matt?
I mean,
Always go with Matt.
You should. Yeah, it's a safe bet.
hang on. Before you show the artist, I mean, I got to what they call present the deck, right, Paul? Is that what they call it?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that thing, that little
In
thing.
some
Okay.
circles.
All right. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's start with Ted, maybe.
Yeah, there we go. He's a
Why not?
legendary monster maker and fabricator with over 35 years in the industry. It's the Foamfabber himself, Ted Haines.
Hey, guys.
Here he is.
There he is.
We're loving our Ted. And by the way, it was his birthday, a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So-
Happy birthday, Ted.
All right, happy birthday.
Thank you much. Turned 38.
It's his
38
birthday month.
years old.
It's his birthday month. Like Paul's birthday month, my birthday month. It's the whole month.
Yeah, the whole month. All right. So he's an amazingly talented artist and sculptor from Tucson, Arizona, and my buddy, Matt Harper.
Hey.
Hi, Matty. Good to be back.
Bienvenidos a la playa. Hello.
My name's Paul Dever. I'm an artist and sculptor from Boston, Massachusetts. And tonight, our guest is a professional pumpkin carver and artist, as well as the 2015 champion of Halloween Wars. Please welcome Adam Bierton.
Hey, Adam.
What's up, everybody?
Where's our round of applause, Paul? We needed that for like.
Oh
last
yeah,
time.
where's the sound bites here?
Exactly.
It's
for
always
us.
so
Come on,
weird. It's like we got to start getting some kind of, and I can't have a studio audience in my basement, so that would just be,
That costs too much. Yeah.
yes, it's a lot of money.
I'll bring
Shoot
you in
me.
next time.
Yeah, perfect. Well, hey, Adam, thanks for joining us, man. It's been a long time coming, and we're so happy to have you on the show.
Awesome, man. So happy to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
at this point in the show, before we get into the Adam Hour, as we like to call it, we like to look back at what we did the week before for our challenge. And I believe last week's challenge was a confused female character.
Correct. But Paul, before you do, I think
Oh,
we have something
yeah,
else to
right.
show.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
we'll
forgot
something
about
else.
something because we did get
We
pretty
got
much
something
the
really
same
cool, and
thing
I'm gonna. Oh, here I am again, screwing things up. We got something really cool that was from Adam. Well, actually,
Mike, Mr. Mike Giblin from
Giblin.
the UK.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome.
did this for us, and we couldn't be more happy. So, Adam, this is the first time that this caricature gets debuted, but Mike did a fantastic job, and Paul says I look like a superhero on this one, although my chin looks a little large. You know,
Oh, cut it out.
no, come on.
You know what?
You guys
know
look
what-
great. This is awesome.
Yeah, isn't it cool? You know
Yeah,
what's
this
crazy
is
is he knows like the way if you zoom in and look at like I know you can't zoom in on it, but you can read my watch. It says 5:03, and I went back
Get out
to
of
the
here.
original source photo, and he even captured that. So
That's
great
great.
job, Mike. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah, and by the way,
I don't know why I'm
the-
just seeing it. You guys could easily cosplay Lex Luthor and Jor-El.
Oh, nice.
but so the other thing that's remarkable about this too, Paul, because he is like he captures our features great. But to your point, I mean, like, he has like the tattoos I have on me, great. The wristband that Paul has on is from when Paul and I were in at Treehouse Brewery in what's the name of the town? In
Tewksbury, Massachusetts.
Tewksbury, Massachusetts. We both. That was probably our second beer, but after the fourth, we were like, okay, we were stumbling out of there. But tremendous. But he has that little detail. Anyway, I just thought he really is good.
He's amazing. He's amazing. So yeah, we want to give a quick shout out to that. Sorry, I forgot about it.
Yeah. No, we're good. So
right.
This is the one. This is my submission for the confused female. Well, although I'll say having three daughters. There's no such thing as a confused female, right? Because they're all brilliant, and I'm wrong.
Always right. Yeah.
All that stuff.
Yeah. I went the same thing kind of too, but exactly. It's more like irritated female. right?
Right.
Instead of
Right.
No, this one came out great, man. I love it. I love the.
Yeah.
Did you add anything to the stem to give it that twist? Or did you just have a good little?
Oh, I got lucky on the stem. That kind of had that like like already look to it. So I accentuated the dumb look on her face to make it look like a
There's no such thing as a dumb look.
No, not with women. No, everything's good.
Nope.
Let's take a look at yours. Yeah.
From that angle, she just kind of doesn't look, and she's just kind of like looking up, like what? So once again,
well, she's confused. I mean, dude. I love the fact that you incorporated the leaves in there. I mean, are those from your yard?
Yeah,
Dude.
Or my gutter, or my driveway,
Wherever they, yeah.
Yeah,
We don't have leaves out here in Arizona. We just have cactus or something, whatever. So.
Yeah, I feel like that expression is she's getting mansplained. She's a little confused about it, but she's aggravated at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
This one's so clean. I don't know, Adam. I know we're going to talk about Adam stuff, but one of the things I like about like this one, I mean, Paul and I struggle with females. I'll throw it out there for both of us, but when it comes to like, we try to make something pretty, and inevitably that women are, they're smooth and clean, and they're wonderful beasts. But I think the thing that was, to me, struck me about this one is it looks so like refined. I mean, there's no tool marks, no wrinkles. It's anyway. I'm really impressed with this one.
Thanks, buddy.
Gorgeous, Paul. Yeah. The female face is the hardest. I've done very few of them, and it's just because of that reason. It's like once you get into it, man, to get that nice polished feminine look is really tough to execute. So great job to both of you.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah, man.
So you're a smart man to avoid the female face.
Oh yeah, and I had a lot of requests this year too. It's like, where's the females? Where's the girl's face? And I didn't go down that road. So
pumpkins identify as whatever they want.
That's right.
And guys are so much more fun to carve because they're uglier and meatier,
and
wrinklier, and
wrinkles and twists, and that's what you want to do. That's more fun.
It's always the toughest thing. Like I said, the female face. Putting a makeup on a woman, like especially if you're going to age somebody in makeup,
sure.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is push it a tiny bit, and they're just an ugly old hag. Put a line in the wrong place or the coloration, you could just blow it. And if it's just supposed to be like a natural aging makeup, you just go a little bit one direction and it's gone. It's too much. So it's really hard to do. It's one thing I was talking to Adam right before the show started, is like the way you guys smooth out the pumpkin meat. I just have not figured that out. And like I said, I'm going to have to carve at least 100 pumpkins before I figure out finally that smoothness of what you guys do.
Yeah, that's the John Davis line. Carve 100 bad ones and you're bound to get a good one.
Right.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, but Ted, I think we've showed you the Scotch Brite pad. I mean, you can like Christina uses what did she used wet sanding paper for like automobiles.
Yeah.
I was impressed with
really?
Because her stuff comes out real smooth, and she says she gets right down there with like the 200 grit. So
no way.
So that's what you're using is a Scotch Brite to smooth that off.
That's the best way to do it, I feel. Is just Scotch Brite everything in after. And you can even get like the subtle tones. You know what I'm talking about, Adam. Like if you want to just push a wrinkle or a fold in a little bit, you can use the Scotch Brite pad as almost like a bigger tool.
For sure. I actually battle it a little bit where I'm a very polished worker and I'm overwork a lot of my stuff sometimes, but I'll get in a lot of detail, a lot of like fine-eyed finishing work, and then I'll try to polish it up. And you got to be careful because that abrasive will polish out your detail quick. So
it'll take away 2 hours of
I've been there.
Little wrinkles,
and then start over.
Because it is pumpkin at the end of the day. So
sure, yeah.
Well, at least it lasts a couple days. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Why not?
You can't
a couple days out of these
pumpkin.
things.
Yeah, a couple pictures. That's what you get.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
it's all about the picture.
Every week we and Paul's really good at this part, like transitioning to the next part. But I have to introduce us to the next and what do you call this? The fourth member.
This is the fourth member of Carvers and Creators. This will be responsible for our carving challenge tonight. The wheel.
Oh.
Some might call it the center spinner. Some people might call it something else that I've never heard of, but we like to call it the wheel. So why don't we take a gander at it, and we'll see what our choices are tonight.
I like it. I like it.
All right. Oh, wait on. There we go. Okay. Adam, the wheel. We'll meet Adam. All right. So what we're going to do, Adam, is we're going to spin the wheel twice. The first time we spin the wheel is going to be the subject that we're going to try and carve tonight. And the second spin will be the emotion or attribute we have to apply to it. So our choices tonight are aquatic, Thryclops, meaning 3, old, guest choice, so have one on deck, undead, fantasy animal, elf, demon, baby, or hillbilly.
Ooh.
You notice female is gone.
Okay.
That's a one done for a couple months. Yeah, right.
That'll come back in a year.
Yeah, as a demon. I'll just disguise
as a demon.
All right, so second spin will be exhausted, expired, guest choice once again, crazy, cocky, excited, furious, sad, flustered, or confused. Flustered and confused are the same thing. And I think I realize that every time I spin the wheel, and I still haven't changed it. It flusters me. Okay, there we go.
Well, I'm confused.
Confuses us.
Thank you. Here we go.
Oh boy, the anxiety machine.
Old. Look at that. And Ted was talking about doing
good.
old age makeups. Ted, I see an old female in your future.
Yeah.
Oh no.
All right, so this
old is great. I love wrinkles. Big wrinkles.
That's to my wife.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's see. Ooh, furious old.
Furious and old.
Aren't all old people furious about something?
Ooh, I like that. Okay, I'll put it into the chat right now.
Boy.
Okay, there we go.
I like that mask there, Paul.
Oh, thanks. Doing some paint tests on it.
Oh yeah,
I'm not really a good painter yet.
That's your first pull from the.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a mold, right?
Yeah, I went way too thick.
Well, hey,
I can tell you're pinching that. It's.
Oh God, yeah, it's super thick. Well, you know what it is. I didn't buy enough to, what I forget what they call it when you pour it in and pour it out. So dwell. Thank you. What I did is, I not completely rotocasted it because it would have dumped it all over me, but I rotated it and then checked on it and rotated it. But I did that for like 9 hours.
Oh, wow.
Probably why my back hurt. But here's another little caveat that I wish somebody would have told me. You got to cut the air holes in the mask before you put it on.
Oh.
Okay. I was scrambling. I'm like, this is it. This is how I go.
This is how I go.
Breathing and it's just sucking in closer and closer. And
every time I breathed in, it was just like, it's a tight fitter, I'll tell you.
Oh, wow.
Did somebody not tell you to cut the holes on purpose?
Yeah.
That was probably it.
Maybe that's what it was.
Joey says, no, that's fine. Just choke it out. Why not?
Breathe through your ears.
Okay, so we're doing we should do a little toast, right? I mean,
that's
our next little stop.
So have to get our carving oil out.
Yeah, exactly. Every week we do a little carving oil toast. So our carving oil helps lube us up for our anxiety-ridden performance we're about to create here.
Yeah.
But in this case, maybe let's start with Ted. Ted, what do you got tonight?
I've got 2. I felt I had to bring a backup.
Okay.
So here's my back. It's just a simple Firestone double barrel ale.
Okay.
And that's my backup, though. I'm not opening that yet because I saw something at the store that I just have to try. This is from Central Coast Brewing here in the Central Coast of California. And I'm going to give this a shot.
Whoa, peanut butter.
Whoa.
Peanut butter breakdown. So, it's 6.4 alcohol. Like I said, Central Coast.
Is it a brown ale?
I'm going to give this one a shot. I mean, I like peanut butter typically, if it's a peanut butter cup with some chocolate or
I'm sure ice cream. I'm sure it's the same kind of thing. Same thing. You're good.
Ted, is that a brown ale?
It is. Let's see. Skippy brand brownie. It's a stout.
Stout.
Ooh,
Nice.
okay, there you go. You're in shape.
Oh my God!
It contains
It's got to
gluten.
be with that peanut butter. It's got to be thick, right?
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
gotta
Yeah, it's gonna be
eating,
like
that'll be your dinner too.
Got to be.
Right.
Ted, I'm
Paul,
jealous.
that'll wean you off your fast, you know?
Yeah. I can smell it.
Woo!
I smell
All
peanut
right.
buttery-ish.
It's not as peanut buttery smelling as I thought it was going to be, but I'll let you know as soon as we taste.
Good.
Nice.
Paul, how about you? What are you having tonight?
Well, I'm gonna go light for restriction reasons and go. This one says, I've had this before. It's called the Cat's Meow. It's a New England IPA. It's really good. And 8 out of 10 cats approve of it. That's what it says on the can. Why am I getting old?
It doesn't like to stay in focus. It must be.
That's the weirdest thing. It never does that. You know what? I'm not giving up.
Hey, all right.
Okay.
You can tell the can's been in my fridge for a while too, huh? Oh boy.
It's all then, I love it.
There's
Okay.
always a can in the fridge.
I like it. And so we'll go with Adam. What do you have tonight for a little beverage to get us all lubed up?
Yeah, so I'm going Luby tonight. I'm gonna go local. I thought this was a national brand. This is the Three Heads Brewing. It's an IPA. 6.8%. One of my favorites here, the kind. Big hitter here in the Northeast. And then they were gracious enough to donate this one for the show. This is a kind of juicy. It's a 20. Oh no, it's not a 24 ounce. It's yeah,
9%.
The niner
9
on the 19-ounce niner. So I think I'm gonna roll with this one. Maybe you guys will scoop me up off the floor later, but this is where I'm going.
Wow.
Okay. Pumpkin carvers cut from the same cloth.
There you go.
He has a backup ready. That's the part I love. He's got a backup ready to go.
That's awesome.
I'm ready.
I'm having what they call it's a Model O. I think it's a Model Zero. I don't know if it's.
You put the wrong emphasis, the wrong syllable.
I'm stealing that one.
Mexic Zero is our, So anyway, that's my and I've got plenty of backups. I got a whole case of them in my fridge somehow. I don't know, but that's mine isn't special. You guys like trumped the shit out of me on this one. I don't have anything good, but
you don't like IPAs. We've established that. That's fine.
I'm not an IPA fan. They just taste like I'm eating the driveway or something. I don't know.
I love it when you get all excited over now that they make like Jack and Cokes in a can.
It's a lot less work. It is. It is a little less. Exactly.
Nice. Well, cheers, everybody.
Cheers to big cheers to our creation. Let's get carving and let's talk about Adam.
Yes, let's get into it. So let's start. Well, this is obviously I've seen this
beverage.
By the way,
I love it.
I know you're a busy guy and you've had tons of success, especially this year. You were everywhere this year. But
this year was nuts.
That's great. You're climbing the mountain, sir. You are climbing the mountain.
One pumpkin at a time.
But how did you start? Like, where did it all start for you?
How did it all start for you?
So, I mean, I've been pretty obsessed with Halloween since a young age. The traditional family stuff. You hit the pumpkin patch, you go trick or treating, all that traditional stuff. But pumpkin carving for me, even costume design in the very beginning, was like a way for me to express my creativity. I think before I even knew that I was an artist, because I would always draw and paint, but I didn't go to art school until high school, and that's kind of when things escalated. I was in a ceramics class, and I brought some of those clay tools home to apply to the pumpkin medium, and I just fell in love, and I haven't stopped since. So this was like early 2000 when I was in high school, and I would spend a single day on one pumpkin carving. I'd do 8-10 hours on one carving and just see what I could come up with, and I've been trying to push the boundaries ever since. It's been 20 some odd years of this labor of love. And as an artist, as a creative, I've always been creating, building, fabricating. But as far as like sculptural art, for whatever reason, the pumpkin medium has been my chosen form. I don't know if I chose it or it chose me, but this is primarily what I focus on. And I feel like I should probably experiment with some other mediums that don't rot in 2 days, and get back into clay and some wood. And so
how many
anyway,
times? Well, I gotta ask, because I'm the same way about pumpkin. I don't know. I think the medium chose me, chose Paul. When it comes to like people asking you about, hey, why don't you do this in wood? Why don't you do it in stone? What do you tell them? Because I'd love to hear your answer.
I mean, I get it all the time. It's like, why, I get the same, maybe 10 or 12 questions every single year. It's just like this revolving door of the same question. How'd you start? What do you do the rest of the year? And that's a big one. And I think the assumption is that I'm an artist the other 10 months out of the year, and I work with clay or wood, and then just transition to pumpkin as like a hobby. And that's really the furthest thing from the case. I really should, like, my art form, I think, is kind of not taking a back seat, but like I got really into custom fabrication in New York City a few years back. And then I got into product design and, all this crazy stuff. So I've really been an entrepreneur artist blend, and, me being a successful entrepreneur as an artist, I knew it was going to be tough from the beginning. So like, I really want to get more back into more of my fine art and explore mediums beyond the pumpkin, I believe.
What
Good.
aside from
something ephemeral or something another like sand or ice, or are you talking about something permanent?
Yeah, no, I think permanent, and I don't know what that medium is yet, because like after Halloween Wars, I was working with the Maniac crew. You just had them on a couple weeks ago, right? Or last week?
Yeah.
So when I moved to New York in like 2012, and I was this like hungry pumpkin carving kid, and I was like looking for competitions. And then my mom sent me an article, I think it was in the Post, and it was Mark and Chris, and that was not in the beginning, but like early on in their career. And they had like just done the World Series or something like that. And
right.
they got this huge write-up. And I was like, oh man. So I reached out to them, and they ended up taking me in. I worked with those guys for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. And I learned so much. And that was my into the Food Network Halloween Wars. And after Halloween Wars, I was like, all right, I'm going to go all in on my art and try to do, sand in the summer and snow in the winter, and make it a year-round thing. But it just never stuck. So pumpkins are still my one true love.
I agree with you 100% on that too. You get the same questions. Do you do this? Do you do that? And do you answer and go, well, I can. I don't get as jazzed. You get cooked carving sand, right? You get smoked carving sand. And if you're carving ice, you're frozen to death.
You're freezing your balls off.
We're hanging out having a beer, carving a pumpkin.
Right.
That's cool.
That's cool. I've definitely fought the elements a little bit, especially this year, man. It was a rainy season here in New York. Oh my God. I think literally 50%. It was like every Saturday out of the 7 or 8 weekends I was at New York Botanical, we got rained out.
Well, we get the same weather too, and it was 11 out of 13 weekends throughout the summer. It was a raino.
Yep, incredible. I mean,
no, nothing like it.
Yep. So I mean, I love saying. I think the ephemeral part of pumpkin carving contradicts my personality in a lot of ways. Like I am a control freak, a perfectionist, and the fact that I have to like create in this medium and then ultimately let it go soon after is this like love-hate relationship. And I don't know. I'm just obsessed with it.
We're gonna see. One of the things about your hallmark is, I mean, you do very finished pieces, and I think that one of the things we'll see in some of your other art is stuff that's extremely. Now again, we're dealing with a medium that is very it's rotting the minute you start, right? So it's,
yeah.
So to look at this, Starbucks cup, you have to make it perfect. You have to make it right for the customer and all that stuff. But then some of even like your sculptural like faces and stuff like that are very polished and finished. So I guess that's part of your what you were describing as kind of being a little bit of a control freak about like getting it perfect, getting it right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's something that I battle. I really think that it's a downfall of a lot of my pieces is that I get caught up in the detail before it's ready to be detailed, especially on pumpkin. And it's something that I'm working with personally to try to like let go a little bit and be a little bit more free form. Like I tried to, a lot, as you guys know, like everything has to be carved within that 24-hour window, whether it's on display or you're doing a piece for a client or something like that. And when I'm doing my performances at New York Botanical, I understood, years back that I would have to show up with work because like I would, in the beginning I'd show up to, to perform, and I have like a 3 or 4 hour window and I'd show up with an uncarved pumpkin and try to knock something out. Impossible. But, it's impossible. And I'm talking and I'm, people are asking me questions. So I understood very early on that I have to show up with as much pre-carved stuff as I can. So I'm, this year I was trying to like time myself. And I've done that before with shows, but like what can I do in 30 minutes? What can I do in 60 minutes? And just try to knock something out. And I think that limitation kind of lets you be a little bit more free,
Right.
Yeah. It's quite perfectionist, but you do know what you can get. You can bang out in a 2 hour, 3 hour window. I agree. That's why Matt and I made, we cast replicas. We sculpted like, pumpkin size pumpkins. That was the stupidest thing I think I've ever said. And then cast them so that when I bring it around and then people, I bring that with me and just put it down. Yeah. And, somebody would be like, wow, how much for that pumpkin? And I'm like, first of all, it's plastic, but thank you. And
right.
It's just what it's going to look.
You'll have to show me because I bought a bunch of the Funkins a couple years ago for a project at New York Botanical, and like you get the ones at the at like the art store or whatever, and they're like super generic. But then Funkins, like the actual Funkin brand, they have like all these different shapes and sizes, and I still think that they're what they are. Like sometimes I source pumpkins. I think that's like part of my love is like going to the pumpkin patch and like searching.
Same. Like if you walk into a pumpkin patch, all of a sudden it's like you're in your happy place.
Yeah. I mean, my kids want to come with me all the time, and it's like I gotta like either I go to the pumpkin patch with the kids or I go there to like shop because I can't do both. Like I have to like zone out and like get into my groove.
100%.
Now, when you guys are shopping. When you guys are shopping pumpkins, I mean, are you guys going to the actual growers? Where they're actually growing a pumpkin, or?
Personally, yeah, I got a relationship here with where I used to go as a kid. Like I grew up at this farm. It's called Powers Farm Market up here in Rochester, and I still go to that farm today. I'm friends with the family, and like I start messaging Ned, the farmer, in September, and I'm like, hey, how's the crops looking? What's we have a very close relationship.
So I would think that's what you want. That's where you're going to find like something funky looking. I noticed like all the different pumpkin places in California here, because they'll bring them to the grocery store. They'll bring them to the pumpkin, event places, whatever like that. And they're all these just really nicely shaped pumpkins.
Beach balls.
But you think you want something that's got character to it, or at least that's what I would want.
Totally. Right.
Yeah, what's.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, you lose that character. It's just round. But I guess that's part of your job too. Is like if you can only get what you can get, you have to make something out of it.
Right.
In some seasons, it's depending on what the weather's like, you don't have as many choices because the crops are bad. I know. How it was for you this year in New York because you had similar weather. The local patches were terrible. They had like half
really?
the normally would. Yeah. So, but there's a place that I go to. It's like a fundraising pumpkin patch that they do every year, but they bring in the pumpkins from New Mexico. Don't know why. We'll never ask because they're dynamite. They're huge, and nobody, you go to the farmer's market or whatever with your kids. The kids want the perfect beach balls so that they can make jack-o'-lantern. They don't want the big 60, 70 pound ugly one. It might as well just be a block of marble. It's like the most beautiful thing ever.
Right.
one of the things that you've excelled at, I mean, again, being a fan of yours, like in the last couple of years, we just touched on this one before, like a second ago, but like these faces with the pumpkins with the kind of generic, almost like perfectly cut circles with tongues made of yams, eyes, and might have carrots and potatoes, and but the expressions on them are remarkable. I mean, I tell me, how'd you get into this part? Because this is the thing that I've told you pre-show and etc. Dude, you gotta corner market. You gotta find out a way to put a brand on this thing. So they're so cool.
Well, thanks, man. These have been, I think, some of the most fun that I've had with pumpkin carving, and I think, it's been frustrating since the beginning that, like, the pumpkin, the 3D style carving of pumpkin has been like, growing over the last few years. Like, there's more and more carvers coming to the surface, which I think is amazing. But like, there's only so much. Like, how much more creative can you get with a sculptural style pumpkin? And like, you guys are fantastic with some of your expressions, and some of the work that you do is like unreal. And I was trying to find a way to do something. I really think it was the New York Botanical and like the kids and the visitors that were coming through. And I got, the potato and carrot eyeballs are really like a very polished detail piece that that suits my style of work. And actually, the pumpkin in this photo and the pumpkin behind me is a varietal called the Darling pumpkin. And I found these 3 years ago. So I really started doing this style of character about just 3 years ago. And I like how they sit a little bit taller. And then I went on this little tangent of trying to get these guys to like look like they're screaming or crying, or I had one blowing its nose or whatever. And it was just a way for me to kind of come up with a unique style and add a lot of expression without doing, an 8-hour sculpt, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what I appreciated about yours, when I first started learning about you and started going through all your stuff. So many of yours, there's such a simplicity to the sculpt, but you've added so much character to it. And it's just, they're very, seemingly a very simple line. But I mean, obviously it takes a lot of that forethought, that third eye, in order to see, create a character. You've made a character with some very simple lines. But the two different sized eyes and the way the mouth is open or the way it's upturned is really great. I mean, like this one right next to the other one, it's like, super sculpted out, all the meat is showing and all that sort of stuff. But I think it takes a lot of ingenuity or just artistic talent to create a character out of doing something almost more simple. Yeah.
Well, I think, like the whole being a pro pumpkin carver, and then like the traditional jack-o'-lantern, there's something magical about a traditional jack-o'-lantern, and I think that it ties into this design. So it's like half sculpt, like I'm sculpting the potatoes, but it's very jack-o'-lantern. It's just a cutout mouth and a couple of eyes. But like what I've noticed in the jack-o'-lantern is or especially these characters, like just the slightest variation in the placement of eyes or the size of the mouth or the placement of the mouth completely changes the character. So like the creativity on these guys is endless, and I just love it.
And it's like something that someone can learn. I think it's very intimidating to, like the one on the left, somebody's like, I can't even draw a stick figure.
Right.
But then they think they can do the one on the right, but the work and the precision that goes into making it look correct. I mean, just the angle that you got to cut at to make the mouth look right, but to get the potatoes to sit.
Equal amount of work.
It's a ton of work.
Yeah,
even
that's why you don't see me doing them.
Like this one right here, like the inside of his mouth. I know you can see on the left side of his inside of his mouth. You can see the wall, how thick the wall is. But you have a nice precision cut that makes the lip look thin when it's just a big thick block of pumpkin. And it's that kind of like detail, like even on this one where you've got you don't see that wall of thickness. You can see a little bit over here, right? But it's all on purpose. But I mean, when you anyway, I really do enjoy kind of like the thought that goes into just the carving part of it. But and to Ted's point, it's like they're simple, but at the same time they're so expressive and so cool. So again, capitalize on it. Just
please don't take offense by me calling it simple. It's like, it's
no.
Simple's hard.
Yeah. It's seemingly simple.
Well,
and a lot of people might go, like you said, hey, it's just a couple of lines. It's like, no,
sure,
I can't do it.
But it is approachable. And again, I gotta give credit to my placement at New York Botanical, because like, again, that's kind of influenced what I do. These characters came about through my performances there, and again, it's a more approachable style carve. And I was just saying this earlier, that like in the beginning as a pumpkin carver, it was like, you're blowing people's minds with a sculpture or another pumpkin carving, and it was like you tried to, in my opinion, I was like trying to like, oh, I'm coveting those techniques and those tools a little bit because I wanted to stay elite. But then over the last few years, it's been more about sharing my craft and inspiring creativity with everybody. So the little characters with the potato and carrot eyeballs, I think, is a way more approachable style of carving, where it's not your typical jack-o'-lantern, but you can take it to the next level with a couple simple tools and a few moves. So
so on that same topic, I think you've been doing tremendous work. If anybody follows Adam, you know that he does a lot of classes too. So when it comes to like teaching people how to do some of the stuff you're doing, how do you like that? I mean, because it's some artists just will like, I do this for me. That's great. I'm happy. Cool. But do you enjoy the teaching part?
You know what? I really do. I really think that teaching, even outside of pumpkin carving, is one of my passions. I love sharing my craft with everything that I do. And I, again, over the last few years, have really solidified that into what I do throughout each pumpkin season. And it's like, through social media, it's not just about the glam shot. It's very video driven, and that has spawned into like TikTok. TikTok is a platform that I just got started with 2 years ago and had a lot of success on this year. But again, it's more of an educational platform. And again, sharing that craft and giving tips and tricks, the response from that has been great. And I think, to share my love for pumpkin carving with the rest of the world and inspire other people to take their pumpkin carving to the next level is one of my passions for sure. Yeah.
Cool. You like seeing people do it. Go ahead. Sorry, Paul. Go ahead.
I didn't say anything.
I'm sorry.
I just said
no. I was going to say, me not being necessarily from the pumpkin world at all, carving. I come from film and special effects, but so I don't know a lot about what you're doing with the New York Botanical that you're talking about. Can you tell me and the audience who don't know, what are you doing for them and how did that start?
Well, so I've been with the New York Botanical Garden for the last, 5 or 6 years at least now. And ironically enough, I was a part of a small construction team that put a roof on the Edible Academy, which is one of their newer developments in the garden. So the New York Botanical Garden is located in the Bronx in New York City, and it's like 250 acres of untouched forest and gardens and lands in that Bronx area. So it's absolutely gorgeous up there. And I was a part of a team that put on this it was a live roof on the Edible Academy. And at that time, I know one of the farmers, and I was like, hey, I'm a pumpkin carver. And it just kind of snowballed into me going there every year and, doing a demo of my pumpkin carving, which I've done. And I kind of would hop around and do different performances everywhere. And it's really kind of snowballed into this like grandiose, as they call it, the Halloween spooktacular. So it's every single weekend starting in September all the way through Halloween, and I'm there every single weekend. We have a pumpkin patch, and I do live carvings, and we do some classes, and it's just a great time.
You brought in a couple of guest artists this year too.
Yeah, this is the second or third year we've done the pumpkin carving face-off challenge. So I'm always looking for new artists that are kind of like up and coming and Lenny Calvin was there with me. So one of the weekends, that's one of our programs, is that we'll do a face-off challenge where three artists will come in and compete, and I kind of MC that day, and all the visitors vote on the best pumpkin carver. So
nice. So it was you, Lenny, and John Davis, right?
John Davis, and then Steven.
Oh, that's right. That's
Junso.
right.
Yeah. Say his last name. I kept
Junso.
Genso. Yeah. I kept mispronouncing it on Instagram there. But we had a blast. So John and Steven were.
Whoa!
Uh-oh.
Just
and there he goes.
He's gone.
Just like that, he's gone. You know, I think
finish the story. The two of them fought to the death.
Exactly. And this was the pumpkin they died on the. Oh, here he is. He's coming back.
Apparently, Adam lost. Oh, there he is.
Did I go somewhere? I didn't know what happened. My bad.
That's all good. So you're talking about.
No, but we were looking at some of these because this is kind of some of the things you've been doing on the large scale with other folks at the botanical, right?
So this is the second year that pumpkin carving that's on screen right now was a 300 or 400 pound pumpkin I did right after Halloween Wars. So that was that wasn't a part of New York Botanical, but really great shop by one of my friends. This was the first year, and I worked with Lenny Calvin and Dean Arnold on this.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's a great job. I got to tell you, you guys did such a good job on that. So it's
amazing,
so uniform.
Yeah. What kind of time did you put into that? I mean, what are the hours?
How much time? Yeah, exactly. Great question, Ted.
This was the first year they gave us 2 days. They gave us Saturday and Sunday, but we, you know, the visiting hours, if you will, are like 11 to 5 or something like that. But we'd show up early in the morning and work late at night, and you know, we put 2 full days in on this piece. And this is something that we're trying to expand into the New York Botanical programming, because they work with the Pumpkin Commonwealth directly, and they have like for years and years.
I didn't know the Pumpkin Commonwealth. That's the big word.
Yeah. I just met them the last couple of years because these guys work with them very closely, and they get 3 of the largest pumpkins in the world delivered every single year, and they're on display.
This is 20. That one's 24. 2004. Here's a great close up of it. I mean, like the detail you guys got into this is insane.
Yeah.
And then this guy. This is this year.
Yeah, that one's this year, and that was just me and Lenny, and we spent it was meant to be 3 days, but we got rained out on the final day, which is a bummer, man, because we saved everything we wanted to do to this piece for the final day, because you know, like this piece versus all the detail, but you know, from last year it was like a dragon's head, but we were kind of conformed to the shape and size of the pumpkin, versus this year I was like, we got to try to design something that we can get some height and some movement into this piece. So that's why we're doing some of these tentacle arms, but you know, we weren't going to do them on Friday with the grand finale on Sunday, because these things would just, you know, dehydrate in the sun and shrivel up. And so I had a lot more planned for this piece, but all in all, it came out good. I think, you know, the idea to kind of like tie in some of these like little characters that this guy was like kind of hoarding, and he was collecting all those pumpkins that were in the reflecting pool. I thought was that was a cool design. Me and Lenny had a lot of fun.
No, is that one pumpkin, and you're stealing from maybe the backside for the tentacles?
Yeah, the tentacles were actually from smaller, maybe 200 pound pumpkins, which wasn't ideal. Like ideally we would have another giant. It doesn't have to be another 2,000 pounder, but another 1,000 pound pumpkin that has a nice, you know, 4 or 5 inch wall to get these tentacles. So some of them are faked a little bit. They're not as thick, and I wasn't able to get a lot of the true movement. But like I said, we got absolutely poured on that last day on Sunday, and we tried to fight the fight, but it's a bummer, man. We had so many more pieces that we were going to put in here. Like if you kind of look closely, this guy was he had 4 eyes, and one of the elements Lenny and I were really fighting is that these things you can see right there, there's like a wooden plinth. So these guys are sitting on these big wooden boxes. So this is one of 3 pumpkins, and wasn't necessarily the heaviest one, but for whatever reason, I wasn't there. Lenny was there when it got delivered and placed, and they put it on the tallest box. So it's in this reflecting pool, but it's like if I stood next to this, it was probably another 4 or 5 feet top of the pumpkin. So we built scaffolding around it, and we were working, but both Lenny and I like the perspective of the eyes, and like I was working on one of the tentacles back there, and I'm 15, 20 minutes I'm working on this detail, and then I hop off the scaffolding and I look up and I'm like, nobody's ever seen that piece, so
I feel that way too when you're carving.
A lot to be learned.
Do you ever feel that way when you're carving, even at normal, like a good height for you, and then there's like a 6 or 7 year old kid that comes up and you're like, you should really try and get taller right now so you can see how good this looks. Looking up at everything, so I know what you're talking about. The perspective is way off. Hey, Mark.
We do that a lot in film, where it's like if we're not filming that side of the monster, we're not filming that side of the miniature, the model. It's like we're not building it. So it's like if you're not going to see it, we're not going to make it.
Yeah,
that's a great focus on what's in the front.
Yep.
That is so great, because like even on Halloween Wars, Adam, you can attest, like when it's on camera and you're looking at it like straight on, everything you did behind it, like I mean, even if you did tentacles down the back of it, it's wasted time. It's like it's hard to, but to Mark's point, you wouldn't know that you didn't have another day into this that you wanted to put. So I think it was remarkable the way it is. I mean.
Yeah, it's great.
And I know. So beyond these giant sculptures, I know you do like really cool, very specific, these etched ones as well. So not only do you do the cool jack-o'-lanterns with the potato eyes and the teeth and everything else, and then you do the sculpted ones, the 3D sculpts. But this is where I haven't really even. I mean, I've done a few things, but not to this end. I mean, do you enjoy doing some of these etched pumpkins as well, that are lit from the inside?
I do. I like doing both styles. I think that this isn't my strongest style. Like if I had to pick a pumpkin carving style, it'd probably be sculpture over etching. But I got to tip my hat to Mark, Evan, and Chris on this one. The Maniac crew is where I spent a lot of this time and learned a lot of these techniques. So a lot of the logo work that I did with those guys is where I learned all these tips and tricks. So.
Wow.
Urbani was a great. This was a tough one, and it took a while. But again, it's very detailed work, so like it kind of suits me. But I like to do them back to back to back. And I don't know how the Maniac crew cranks this stuff out. Like these guys talk about a killer season. These guys crushed this year, Shark Tank, and
I'll say
some of the work that they put out this year was just insane. So
ridiculous. But this kind of open mouth, back to your style a little bit more. This is
that's what I always think of.
Yeah, totally.
If one of your questions would pop into my head, that would be
amazing.
Yeah, you do that very, very well. I don't know how
this one.
Yeah, you could teach me how to carve teeth like that, because I usually just cut my fingers.
Well, I don't think I sent you guys a photo, but the first one I did of this style, it was actually during the pandemic, and there was like my season was dead. I wasn't at New York Botanical. Nobody was doing anything. But there was one wedding. There was a Halloween wedding that I got reached out to for, and she wanted all these things. So I did table displays and I did the table numbers, blah, blah, blah. And I even carved there live. But one of my pitches to her, I was like, we should do it. She wanted to do like a receiving box for like all the cards. And I did a carving like this, but it was on its back, and he was like pointing to his mouth. So like, that's where the guests would like drop their cards.
How perfect. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where it started. And then this was the second version I did at New York Botanical. And again, that the combination between the pumpkin and the potato pieces is like something that I can't get enough of. I love that contrast of color.
That's so fun. Yeah, it's the actual contrast versus what we typically do in sculpture, where it's one damn color. But I think one of the things you've done that I was absolutely enamored with this year was this one.
Well, thanks. This
melting
I had to screenshot that, by the way. I couldn't find a still photo of it.
Same.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought I sent all these to you guys, but
so cool. I mean, tell me about that. How'd you what made you think of this, first of all, before we get to how you made it?
Well, I can't take full credit on this design, and I should have been better on tagging this dude. But there's an artist that I follow, and I got to shout him out while we're here. But he's a ceramics artist, and I started following him.
About. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he did the jug with all the hands coming out of it, right? Is that the guy?
Yeah, well, that's where I had a pumpkin where it looked like that was a different artist, but the one that was slipping out of the hand, that was a reference of one of his pieces, and this was a face melting over another face, and this has been a piece I've been wanting to do this for years, and I finally just went for it, and I'm fairly pleased on how it came out.
Yeah, but it takes the smoothness that you are able to muster from these things. I mean, look at that. It clearly the thing that we were talking about, like other artists that do a really good job at like making them smooth, like even Paul's female from the beginning, but this one is another level because it looks like it's melting. It looks like it's like Velveeta, dripping on top.
It looks like refined. It looks like clay. It's like you've sculpted that, fired it in a kiln, and
totally.
Well, this one, I went, I don't know how many hours I spent on this one, but it's funny, cause I'm playing both sides. Like I'm playing the social media game. Like we're the pumpkin, the piece is ephemeral. It's going to rot in a couple of days. So we're really after that photograph. Like every year that goes by, I realize more and more that I should be more, half photographer, half pumpkin carver, because without the right lighting and the right shot, you're really not doing your piece justice. And the fact that the light has such an effect on the piece. Like one of the things I was battling at New York Botanical this year is my location was like in between these two trees, but right in the middle of my performance, the sun would come and just wash me out. So I would get this direct sun, and I was actually
terrible.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was the worst. Cause like we're working with shadows in perspective here. So like the deeper the cut, the darker the shadow. And like, I had no shadow. So I was frustrated this year with a lot of the stuff I put out, because it was like, I was overcutting in that window of lighting. I was like overcutting a lot of my work, and then I'd zoom back and be like, damn it. But it's crazy.
Well, you again, we've talked about it a couple of times. You had a tremendous season. And when we come about, like the one thing that was just, I'm like, wait a minute, this guy is not only everywhere, he's on this show, this little program. Tell us about that experience.
Oh, this one, Kelly and Mark was, I guess they reached out and said that they wanted a couple pumpkin carvings for the host or one of the shows. Because what happened is that the pumpkin that Lenny and I carved this season was on that show like the week before. So again, the Pumpkin Commonwealth and New York Botanical had set that up. So, because I think it was grown in New York State, so it was the largest pumpkin in New York State. And Kelly and Mark had it on the show, and then we ended up carving it. So they had said like, "Oh, we want you to carve some pumpkins for the host," and then it snowballed into me actually getting invited onto the show. So,
wow, too bad you couldn't light it. I mean, I know this is a studio lighting, but I got a chance to see the ones that you did that are lit from inside, and it's their likeness. It's amazing. And these are from lit from the outside, which is different. But I mean, again, I'm a purist, right? I mean, I think these are tremendous.
Don't get me started. We don't need to leave this slide up for too long, because
here we go. Let's move along.
No, you can put it up. It was just like I was so frustrated because, first of all, like a portrait to capture the likeness of somebody, you would in an etching style is significant amount of time, and they gave me a shotgun of like, I had one day, Monday before we shot on whatever day it was. So I tried to do these, but I had a total of 9 pumpkins to produce, and then I confirmed. I reached out to the producers, and I'm like, if I'm gonna do the likeness, I would like to do an etching, but it can't. A studio setting is gonna wash these things out. They have to be like in a dark setting and backlit. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll do it." And then I showed up. So actually, those carvings, they look like dog shit, but they were much better pre-lit. So I was a little frustrated with that.
And that's the inevitable problem. Like Paul and I did a thing for Dunkin' Donuts this year, and we went to the news station. We were like showing these amazing things we spent all night working on, and then you see them in the studio lighting. You're like, wait, let me get a light. Let me put it above. Let me just like, like, please just wait. These are so much better.
Right.
Welcome to the industry, right?
Yeah,
man.
Let me get the lighting right. But this cool thing came out too. New York Times article. There. This was pretty cool,
dude. Unbelievable. Again, set up by the New York Botanical, and completely honored and humbled to even get a write-up like this. Really great. Again, this piece was like 2 days old and had dried out in the sun.
I know.
And
you get mad about like ones that the pictures you take of it, the stuff you do.
Of course, I'm gonna rip everything apart. You put up my best piece, and I'll still rip it apart. It's just what we do. But
you're an artist, right?
Yeah, right. This piece actually, it worked. It maybe not in my favor, but like it dried out, and it was just like extra zombied and creepy, and So,
wow,
you gotta do what you gotta do. But,
hey,
absolutely.
The words New York Times are on the thing, so screw the picture.
Yeah. Well, you should have seen the photo that they showed. So I did like a million photos with these guys. They brought their photographer in. I was pulling out eyeballs. So I had one of the eyeballs, like, I'm like going like this with the camera. We're like having so much fun and like showing like my goofy side. And then the photo that they use is like this real like blue steel.
Oh, I got it. You think I would let you slide on that photo?
Oh my God, dude.
There it is.
Oh, nice.
There it is.
Which month is that on your calendar?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Mr. October.
Mr.
October.
Oh my God, dude.
You gotta pout those lips a little bit more. I mean, could you?
Can you believe it? I'm telling you.
Why were you so dressed? I mean, come on. The fireman's calendar, usually they have like a shirt off.
I'm telling you, we did. There was 99 photos in this little patch of pumpkins, and like I'm smiling in every single one except for 2 shots, and this was one of them. So.
The one you like the least is the one they're going to use.
That's always
for sure. Exactly. And the other thing too that I got hit up so much about was that I'm allergic to pumpkins. That like ended up being the headline of this article. Which was just like a very small snippet at the end of the interview. I was like, after I scooped 20 pumpkins, like I'm actually mildly allergic to pumpkin, which I technically am. Like I'd break out in a little rash.
Yeah.
But that's like, nobody loves scooping the pumpkin, but that ended up being the headline of the
headline. Yeah, of course.
Pumpkin carver allergic to pumpkins.
Yeah. So everybody's like, how could you be allergic to pumpkins and be and I was like, oh my God.
He makes kryptonite. But he's allergic.
The best part of that whole thing is though, when they say that to you, you can say, "Oh, so you read the article."
Exactly. Right.
Oh, so
yeah.
Thanks for reading.
You did read. Yeah, you did read.
I'll sign it for $5. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Talking about.
Well, I hate to say it, guys. We're like a minute away from having to shut this MF down, but I do want to like go around the horn and let's see what's going on here. Paul, you want to show us what you're making, brother?
I'll go. Well, you can already see mine, I guess. All right.
Okay.
I'm blocking.
Unreal, dude. You guys are crazy.
Just blocking right now. The problem is, like the mask in the back and a bunch of other million other carvings I've done over the years. Usually, you're drawn to like a mean face, so it's a brow position that really drives whatever you're doing. Mm-hmm. And I get so frustrated with it because I'm like, it looks like everything else I've ever done. So I gotta go slow.
For now.
I gotta find the old furious person inside this thing and change it up and like go in a different direction. Maybe I'll move the eyes a little further apart. Maybe I'll shrink them down a little. I don't know. It's gonna change. It's gonna change real fast.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. I think it's great. That block is great, man.
Thanks, bud.
Wait, before you guys go again, I got the old and the furious, but what was there the character involved, or you just called old and furious? That's what you guys are going off of.
Just old and furious. I mean, you could put it in a car and it could be old, fast and furious, but
fast and furious.
Here, let me show you what old and furious looks like.
Maddie, look at that.
Actually, Ted's already there. Go ahead, Ted.
Yeah.
Show
There you go, Maddie. Nice block right there.
Mine is. I mean,
I
I'm
love
just like
that.
starting it out. I'm thinking of eyebrows and anger, and
Yeah.
like I don't know what the mouth is going to be like, but I'm kind of on that path. But it's so early, as you know. It just takes a while to kind of get there. But
Yeah.
Ted,
Isn't
did
this
you
the
make
best
something
part?
tonight?
Yeah.
Yes,
Guys, I've been
is.
struggling with pumpkins like crazy every time we do a pumpkin. And I think I finally found my medium, which was a butternut squash.
Holy
Oh,
Moses! Look at this
Hey,
guy.
all right.
Nice,
Oh my
Ted.
God.
Wow.
That's
Wait,
where
hang
I
on.
am.
This happened in the last 30 minutes or something. I mean, this
Yeah.
is
Where's
great.
my level up sound effect?
I know.
You just leveled up, my friend.
Holy crap,
Yeah,
Ted,
that's
amazing.
I was really
I
afraid
just
'cause I
thought
picked
your
this up,
internet
guys.
connection was slow because you just kept holding that face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
did
thought
see that.
this was going to be impossible. So I had a potato as backup. But
Dude, that is really great.
once you get past the skin, boy, I love sculpting
Yeah.
with this. It's like kind of like a hard Chavant almost,
Totally.
That's what I try to tell people is it's like a monster clay after it cools down on you or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But it's
I love it.
consistent. It's consistent, except for that little seed pocket. You got it all.
Yeah,
Look at that
it's
thing,
really
huh?
cool.
Yeah, and then
Oh.
Adam's got the swinging guy in the back that he did
It's got
today.
special effects and everything.
He did
That's all I
today.
did. This is how far I've been yapping all this. I just peeled the skin.
Oh,
so I
nice. Hey,
peeled
you gotta
it.
start at the beginning.
Okay.
Wait,
Hey,
what's the
all about you,
pose
buddy.
that goes with that kind of sculpting?
Which one?
Oh
Kind
yeah,
of like
what's the calendar?
Oh.
You gotta-
Yeah,
One of
that's how
those,
much
right?
I get done, and then I
That's
just
right.
freaking lay back.
That's it. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta
Oh
do.
my goodness, too funny, guys.
Well, Adam, thanks for joining us, man. We'd love to have you back again. And I know it's hard to do around pumpkin season. This is really our Christmas here because this is when we can get you guys on the show.
For
I
sure.
love it. So
Yeah.
our December is usually full of the carvers that couldn't find a minute, and which is the best thing, right? Chaos equals cash. So it's good to see everybody doing well. I'm so happy for your success this season. It was fun to watch. If this is where you can find him. Is there anywhere else we can find you? Because it seemed like it was your website and your Instagram's blowing up. I guess TikTok too, right?
Yeah, TikTok. It's just Adam Bierton. TikTok and the website and Instagram. Yeah, follow along on the fun and lots more planned for next season. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun
Man,
tonight.
absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Good to meet you,
Maddie?
Adam.
It's
Ted,
good
Matt,
to finally-
anything? Any
it's good
last
to finally
words?
Sorry, go ahead. Paul, I'm sorry, I'm talking over you.
No, I was just going to ask you if you had any last words, and you were in the middle of your last words. So
Of course
blasphemy
I
on
do.
me.
Of course I do. So the only thing I would add is it's good to finally catch up with Adam, and then in the little pumpkin community we have, everyone's been kind of watching Adam all season and all these crazy things he's been doing. So it's good to finally actually just level set with everything and just hear it from your mouth. Dude, we're big fans, and we just can't wait to see what happens next with you. And anyway, just would love to have you back on anytime you want.
Well, I really appreciate it, guys. It's been an absolute honor to be on the show, and I'm happy to come back anytime. Really appreciate you guys. Look up to you both as artists. Ted, it was really nice to meet you, and
Great to meet
looking
you.
forward to it. Yeah.
And here's where you can find us. I mean, of course, we're here every week, and we get great artists like Adam, and of course, we're just blessed with Ted being, at least he acknowledges us. We'll put it that way. Huh, Paul?
Ted's going to run us out of town. Did you just see
I
that
just
butternut squash?
I know that freaking butternut, dude. You guys are in trouble.
I did.
Forced myself
we're
on you
short
guys
timers.
as the third part. So
We're short timers at this point.
You start
Ted's
calling
gonna
us
take this over.
a squash fabber.
exactly.
Jesus.
Yeah,
So
but
like,
this is-
follow along, subscribe, tell a friend, and we'll be here next week. So thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll see you again.
Thanks, guys.
See you,
Thanks,
Carvers.
Adam. Appreciate
Later.
you coming.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.